I am recording.
I
Ba,
am
ba, ba.
recording. Ba, ba, ba. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 643rd episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I am here. I just went on a really long walk and I didn't open Pokemon Go once. I'm really hoping it registered my steps.
Pokemon Go fell off. It's a
No,
donezo. People
it
still
wasn't the right
play
time to
this
open
game? Just not the right time to. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Just wasn't the right kind of walk to have that app open. I'm just hoping it registered in my eggs that I'm working on. I'm in the Pokemon eggs. Want to get those Pokemon to hatch.
Got it. Bobby also.
My Pokemon Go time has actually dropped considerably since Pocket came out. So, yeah, I'm taking walks and not playing Pokemon Go either.
Oh my gosh. Well, your Pokemon Go shill is here. Let me tell you about how good I actually. We probably have Pokemon Go news, but I don't think we'll have enough time to talk about it this episode. In Pokemon Go news, I will be leaving the country in a couple days to go to Japan to play Pokemon Go. Full disclosure, Niantic paid for 0 of this trip. I want that to be very clear. No trains, no hotels, no flights, nothing paid for. That's okay though. The two things. One, I very excited, also slightly privileged to be able to go to Japan twice in a year. I understand, well, technically 3 times if you count the one day I was in Japan for a layover. I don't know in what other universe I would be able to go to Japan in November, because there's almost always a Pokemon game around that time, which makes it very difficult. So since there is no Pokemon game, that was part of like, maybe I should go to this. And I do want to see what a wild area is compared to a Safari Zone or a City Safari or a Go Fest or a Unova Tour. Because I would speculate that there will be more wild areas based on more Gigantamax Pokemon going forward. That would be my guess, that they're not. This doesn't seem like a one and done kind of thing. So yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna turn back on the stream backpack. So depending on your time zone, you'll be able to see what a wild area in Japan will be when I stream it, assuming everything is working. So plus, like, as much fun as I am with Pocket, and we will be talking about Pocket this episode, I don't know the longevity of streaming Pocket on Twitch.
Yeah.
But what if you stream Pocket while walking around outside?
That would be cool. You know, it would never happen, but if trading came out this week and then I could start trading for Japanese cards while in Japan, that would be so cool. Like,
yeah, it's not going to work out that way.
I'm at the wild area, not playing Pokemon Go. I'm just asking people if they want to trade like Japanese Squirtles or something. That would be a stream. So yeah, I'll be in Japan sometime this week, however time zones work out. I leave on Tuesday, get there on Wednesday. Still have to like fly to Fukuoka at that point. There are no flights from, I don't think, anywhere in America directly to Fukuoka. I don't think that exists.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
It's either like Osaka or Tokyo.
Yes.
Or maybe Sapporo you can probably get to. I don't know how big their airport is, but probably up there. So what we're going to be doing is we're recording this on Saturday night. This will come out on Monday. And then on Sunday, we're going to be recording ideally 2 other episodes to then have while I'm in Japan, to make sure you guys get it on Monday, and also to make sure I don't have to lug extra equipment across Japan. If I was just going to like Tokyo And I was just like, well, my hotel is just here. That would be fine. But I have to get on another plane and then I got to come back. I don't want to lug all that equipment up those stairs. Okay, so our show today is going to be Pokemon Sleep, TCG, and then we have some Scarlet and Violet news. So let's start with the Pokemon Sleep. Hannah, you said you have not been playing Pokemon Go. It's a dead game. We all know this.
I have actually, and I've been playing it more because I have a new routine that I'm trying where I wake up and I go to my cheap $100 exercise bike and I spend 30 minutes playing Pokemon Masters dailies, Pokemon TCG Pocket dailies, Pokemon Sleep dailies, and Pokemon Go dailies, and I just get all of that done while on the bike first thing in the morning.
Man, who's the shill on this podcast now?
She doesn't ride the bike.
I don't pay for any of it.
Sits
what
on the
are you
bike.
talking about?
She sits on the bike, does all of her Pokemon stuff.
Yes.
Gets off the bike. That's what I would do 100%. I'd be like, all right, time for the bike.
It's working really well. I can fit it all into 30 minutes, all 4 of those apps.
No cafe mix? You're not going to squeeze that one in? Okay.
So I have been doing the Pokemon Sleep dailies most of the time on the exercise bike.
All right. Well, I got Pokemon Sleep news for you. November 21st is Eevee Day. This is the second time we will be getting Eevee Day in Pokemon Sleep. It is a week-long event. During the event, Eevee and its evolutions are more likely to appear. You may even encounter a shiny Eevee. If you do conduct research on Eevee Day, which is November 21st, you will get 1,121 bonus sleep points. You can also get Eevee Incense by doing limited missions. That will start on the 18th, so not the week this podcast comes out, the following week. And it will go until Monday, November 25th. They are saying Eevee and its evolutions more likely to appear. You may, I think when they say you may meet shiny Eevee is the increased shiny chance. They always word it slightly weird.
Think so? Because why
it
say
was
it
last
otherwise?
year.
We can always see shiny Eevee. Like there's some chance.
Well, and it was definitely boosted last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. I wouldn't know. But
this is the big thing to keep in mind. If you don't care about Eevee, I guess. If you do care about Eevee, also keep this in mind. The chance of Helper Pokemon's main skill will be triggered by 1.5. So if you're a Golduck player, very good for you. If you've committed to the Drifblim meta, which is the same as Golduck, just more randomized, also good for you. But obviously, if you're a Wigglytuff, Gardevoir, Sylveon, those will proc more often. So it would require you to check the app more to take advantage of those skill triggers. But you could also run a combination like a Magnezone to give you a bigger pot size, but then also like a Blastoise to give you more ingredients to then put into that bigger pot. So it does give you a little bit more flexibility. Yep. All the islands are valid here. So if you do go to Greengrass, that is Eevee and every evolution. Scion Beach is only going to be Eevee and Vaporeon. I have 2 shiny Vaporeons. Please, no more. Stay away. Top Hollow is going to be Eevee, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon. Snowdrop is just Eevee and Glaceon. Lakeside is Eevee, Espeon, Leafeon. And then Gold Power Plant is Eevee and Jolteon.
So why are we getting not as much Sylveon here? I was noticing that the only place you can get Sylveon is on Greengrass. It does not show up on any other island as well. And it's the only one that doesn't show up on another island.
None of the islands are fairy, are they?
No, but
yeah,
I feel like it could have been
Beach
on like
is
Lapis.
Scion Beach is fairy? Okay,
Yeah,
then it should be there.
Oh,
because Wigglytuff gets a boost.
I never go to Scion Beach.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was weird that Sylveon's only on Greengrass for this and nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the evolution I'd be most interested in at this point. Like, just because I have like good stuff for the other ones. And so I would to see a Sylveon, but I don't know that I want to be on green grass either. So
It's weird that Sylveon's only on green grass, but also Espeon gets like double. It gets Topalo and Lapis, and no other evolution gets the double treatment. I don't know.
do you think it's possible that's actually a typo, and they're like one of those is supposed to be Sylveon instead of Espeon?
I don't think
'Cause-
Sylveon. Well, Espeon makes sense on Lapside because Lapside, Lapis Lakeside because that is a psychic area
Yeah.
and a grass area. But Espeon doesn't
Makes
make
sense in
Taupe,
Topalo.
but also Sylveon doesn't make sense there either.
I guess I just think of Sylveon on Lapis because Ralts is on Lapis, but
Mhm.
so that or like because Gardevoir, but that's otherwise.
Yeah, but Ralts is psychic fairy, which means its dominant one is psychic.
Is it psychic until it becomes Gardevoir and then becomes fairy?
No,
Because Gardevoir.
it stays psychic the entire time.
Oh, Gardevoir's psychic?
Yeah, because fairy is its secondary typing.
Never mind. That's not always true though.
Yeah,
Because
that's not
Houndoom
always
is-
true in this game.
Houndoom is. I went over this with someone one time, and Houndoom is its second type and not its first.
Is it? Is it fire dark?
I think so, and it's dark and. I've had this conversation with someone before. I know I have because I was
and
thinking
all of the
that.
starters, all of the Paldean starters.
Yeah, that's
Also-
true. The Paldean starters switch at the very end.
And
Yeah.
Altaria's dragon.
Yes. Yes, Gardevoir is psychic fairy. No one correct me. I was right.
No, I didn't. I believed you. I was just saying.
Yeah,
that-
no, Gardevoir does not change to fairy at the end. It stays psychic.
Oh, I don't know why I thought it was fairy the whole time. I wouldn't know. I don't have one. So
Yeah.
I still don't have a Ralts. I'm at 32 EVs caught, I think. And you get the I went hard that first EV day. Well, also like I just don't have any good EVs.
Really?
Like
Well, I mean, they're kind of difficult Pokemon to get good ones of
yeah.
to a certain extent. I have a very, very good Vaporeon, and I am really enjoying that with the double skill proc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like I feel like with I'm not like a super like I'm not a min maxer in Pokemon Sleep. I've talked about this, but at least with like Eevee, you have to some of the EVs you have to commit to like using them on your team to evolve them. So it's like if I want Umbreon, I have to sleep with an Eevee for like that's a weird sentence for like 200 hours, I think.
Wasn't gonna say anything, but
and then evolve it at nighttime, and then it's an Espeon or Umbreon. So it's like I don't want to I don't want to do all that work for something that is mediocre, right? Like a Squirtle has such a low barrier to entry to be like, this is a B plus Squirtle, but like 40 candy and now it's a Wartortle, and 180 more candy and now it's a Blastoise. Like 200 hours of sleeping with Eevee is so much to be like, well, you better be a really good Umbreon after I commit this to you.
yeah, I mean, I get that. I've definitely done that with ones that are easier. Like I have 2 Quaquaval just because level 30 leak, and so I just swim in leak all day long. And
Also a weird sentence. Also,
and just cook up those ninja salads like every meal for the last like 3 weeks because just Quaquaval everywhere. But I understand what you're saying, like especially with those ones. Yeah, Eevees like that. I think like Igglybuff is like, there's a few others where it's like you got to sleep for a bunch of hours. Like Igglybuff's short; it's only like 20 hours or something. But I know
Yeah, it took me a long time to evolve my Riolu into Lucario because it was shiny and I wanted to evolve it, and now it's never on my team because it's kind of useless.
I was like, why did you do that?
Because it was shiny. It was
makes
my
sense.
first shiny,
It's
and I like the
Dream Shard
Pokemon.
magnet, though, right?
Yeah.
That which I think, from what I've been hearing, comes in handy when you're like getting up into the like trying to get to level 60 stuff because of like how much Dream Shards.
Dream Shards
cost.
do become more important, but I'm still not sure how helpful those Pokemon are.
Oh.
Yeah, I think what's more helpful than having like Lucario on your team is just getting to max level, because then you just get more your however it determines like you can't earn any more level bonus, so we're gonna turn it into like bonus dream shards or whatever.
Oh, right.
So like I was swimming in dream shards at what's the max level? 55 or 60? I think it's 60 right now.
60 now.
So I was swimming in dream shards when the cap was 55, and then I spent all of them. But then I continued to be dream shard poor until I got back up to 60. And now I feel like I'm getting dream shards at a good rate.
I see. How long has this game been out? A little over a year now, right? Because we did have the year anniversary a couple months ago.
Yeah, July.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of like what you're saying as far as like swimming in dream shards and being level 55 with stuff in 60 and how long you've been playing compared to how long I've been playing and how I have nothing close to level 55.
Well, okay, so when Gold Power Plant opened, there was 2 pot boosts.
Yeah.
I think one pot boost was like 180,000 and then the next one was like 240,000 or something. So ultimately that was like 400,000 dream shards that were just gone instantly. And I just did a pot upgrade which I think was like 300,000. And I still have 150,000 dream shards left, which is a lot of dream shards.
Yeah.
But like I can still upgrade my pot one more time, and I think it wants like 360,000 dream shards.
Gosh,
that's a lot.
But
of
like
dream shards.
you don't start accelerating your dream shards until you hit max research level. And like Lucario's never gonna like make up the difference there. It's just
no.
But it's shiny.
Yeah, and
also,
I've
know
been
that
playing.
Some of those numbers might be wrong. I don't have a list of like how many dream shards you exactly need to upgrade your pot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And I've been playing the whole time as well, kind of a little bit more on and off because moving and all of that. I'm only level research rank 52. So I've still got a ways to go.
Wait, your research rank 52?
Yep. You might be above me at this point. I'm not a premium player.
That is true.
Yeah, Bobby spends the money.
Rank 54.
Yeah,
I'm 54. So.
Yes. It is possible to go and play this game faster than I've been playing it. I do my dailies.
Yeah, on the bike.
Although, honestly, I do have new thoughts about Pokemon Sleep now that TCG Pocket is out.
Have you not been sleeping as much because you've been playing TCG Pocket all night
No,
long?
I haven't been sleeping as much for other reasons.
Okay, well, that's not good.
Is this a should we break and talk about Pocket, or is this still sleep related?
I think it's both related. Either works.
The perfect segue.
The perfect segue. All right. Well, let's take a break then, because we are going to talk. That's kind of it for Pokemon Sleep. It's just there's an EV day coming. It makes sense.
And there's a this happens every month, but there's a full moon coming up, so get ready. For that.
Good sleep day.
It's this week. It's this week, so
yes.
I don't know.
There's a full moon every month, yes.
I know there is, but like,
whoa,
we're giving them the
down.
news.
Hold on, dumb it down.
News.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll see why Hannah hates Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sleep and loves Pokemon Pocket.
None of the above.
After the break. We'll be right back. And we are back from our break. All right, stage is yours, Hannah. I
think Bobby has some similar feelings I've been seeing in the Slack.
Okay.
That Pokemon Sleep just, or at least I've been seeing other people talk about this. We're not focusing as much on Pokemon Sleep now that TCG Pocket is out. And
us as in the podcast, or us as in people?
People.
Oh, okay. That's like
maybe on the podcast. Steve, you're probably still focusing on Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wasn't super excited about TCG Pocket last week. I have since completed all of the, not quite all of the step-up battles. Every single one of the step up battle things, almost the
Wow.
entire Lapras EX drop event. I decided these are fun. I have decided I enjoy this game. And I am finding that when I open the app, I'm actually excited about it. And when I open Pokemon Sleep, I'm not in the same way. And that makes me feel sad because I really like the development team of Pokemon Sleep. I really like the art style of Pokemon Sleep. I even find the concept of Pokemon Sleep interesting. But it's not fun in the way that TCG Pocket is.
I 100% agree with that, actually. And yeah, no, it's so true. Like, I wouldn't say, like, I don't. So the difference to me is Pokemon. So a couple things, actually.
Okay.
For one, I've stopped wearing my watch to bed. So I'm back to like Pokeball Plus Plus for tracking sleep.
Interesting.
Because I was finding that I wasn't setting my alarm as often as I used to. And so it's like, well, I don't want to wear this big chunky watch to bed if I'm not. My main purpose for it was for as an alarm. But if I'm able to wake up in the morning without that alarm, I'd rather not wear this giant watch to bed. Like at the end of the day. And so I was thinking, like, if it's only for sleep tracking purposes, I don't need that. I just use the Go Plus Plus and we're good. Also, like, I feel like I was never getting the amount of sleep I was actually sleeping, like with regards to Pokemon Sleep. Like, I get that it's sleep tracking is whatever it is, right? Like, if I'm not sleeping because I'm rolling around or something too much, like, I get it. But when I go to bed at 1:00 in the morning and I wake up at, let's say, 9 a.m., like, and I actually, my eyes open at 9 a.m. and I get up, I want to feel that in Pokemon Sleep, I got 8 hours of sleep. Like, regardless of what sleep tracking says I'm doing, I don't like waking up and then my watch is like, oh, you woke up at 6:30. And I'm like, I didn't wake up at 6:30. Like, I woke up at 9:00. Like, my eyes opened at 9:00. And I feel like that was happening a lot more often with my watch than with the Go Plus Plus, even though it sits right on my bed. So I don't know what's going on there, but like, it was kind of making me like frustrated when I'd wake up and it was like, you woke up an hour ago.
The opposite of what the game intended.
I'm still really enjoying the watch tracking, so I will say that.
Well, that's, and if it's because like I am moving around a lot, so it's like, oh, you're awake, or like you're not like restfully sleeping, like that's fine, not fine. I should be restfully sleeping, but like I get it. But as far as like, I'm not tracking my sleep to track my sleep. I'm tracking my sleep as a gamify, like I want to play the game and I don't want to like actually figure out what I can do to like restfully sleep. I should, but that's not my purpose here. So it just feels like the watch, I don't know, maybe it tracks it differently or something than a Go Plus Plus. Anyways, my point is that when I open Sleep during the day, I feel like I'm opening it because I'm tasked to do something. Like, I'm opening it because I have to do something in the game. Whereas with Pocket, I'm opening it because I want to do something. And it just feels different in that way.
Yeah. I mean, Pocket has the benefit of you're opening the app and getting to open a pack of cards, and that's always exciting.
Yeah. That is a huge benefit. And the thing is if I have a few minutes and I open the app and it's like, even I don't have a pack to open, it's like, oh, but I know I can go do a battle and it's only going to take like 3 to 5 minutes, but I get to have a full battle in there, which I also find really fun.
Yeah.
And so it is something else to do that I can do as many times as I want in the game without having to pay anything or without having to like put anything more to it. Like, I can just do battle after battle if I want to. And I just feel like that kind of stuff isn't the same in a game like Sleep, or even in a game like Go, if I'm being completely honest. Like, unless you PvP, and I don't. So there's that.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true. Pokemon Sleep is constrained because you can only do the sleep cycles in it twice a day at most. Pokemon Go is constrained because you have to actually get outside and go places to see different Pokemon and spin different Pokestops and gyms and things like that. But TCG Pocket is just all right there all the time, always.
Yeah.
I think I think both of your points are valid. I think right now almost it feels like I'm going to say Hannah specifically flipped, because we all knew before this game came out Bobby was going to be. How much money, Bobby, have we put in?
I bought all
It's
the discounted
non-zero.
gold. I bought all the discounted gold. I bought the Gardevoir set that I said I
Okay.
wasn't going to
Mhm.
buy. That's all.
So about 50.
No. And then another 10
And
for gold or something.
so like
maybe.
60-ish?
And are you
Probably like
past the 1 week free trial?
Oh, that'll go. Yeah, that's gonna get whatever that at $10
Uh-huh.
there. Yeah, probably something like that. But like, here's the thing. Okay, because
Let me
I-
defend this choice.
I am gonna defend this choice, and this is why. I don't see myself spending. Well, for one, I just Surging Sparks came out yesterday, and I dropped 80 on cards like no problem. So like, the real TCG still outweighs these mobile games, like in a lot of ways when it comes to money. But when it comes to like new games, like I don't play that many games. The fact that I have 3 mobile games right now that like I'm actively playing, that's the first time I think ever that I've had that many mobile games actively going on in my phone at one time. Like I don't play a lot of games, and when it comes to console games, like I play a couple at a time at most, a few a year, you know. Um, Part of that is because when I do find a game that I do like to put some money into it to just continue playing. Like if I like the game, I just want to continue putting stuff into it to play it. Not that you can't play it to its full extent, like free to play, but it's like I usually get into it to a point where I'm like, oh, I want to put some money into this and like get the sets or whatever, like open some pack, like do more than just like the bare minimum. And but I don't keep that going like forever. Like I don't plan on like I don't think I'm going to be spending $60 or $80 a month on this game. Similar
Not
to
with
how
that
like
attitude.
How long
similar
have
to
you been
like
spending
how
money on Pokemon Go?
okay, but I also haven't paid for a raid in Pokemon Go in a month and a half.
That's just because you're angry at it.
Because Zacian hurt my heart. but I mean to that point, like I have certain months where I put a lot of money into Go, and then I have like periods of time where I put very little when it comes to money into Pokemon Go. So hey, Papa Pikachu's getting my money from everywhere, whether it's in Go, in the TCG, in Pocket. But really, like when I start playing a game, I like to like, and I really like it. I like to put some money into it just to, I don't know, play it to like a fuller extent, I guess. And I don't like, I don't know. Like I don't plan on spending like $60 or $80 a month on this game. But
Okay, so I think that Pokemon Sleep is very Animal Crossing. Like you can't rush the day,
Mhm.
and if you did not unlock Power Plant, you almost feel at like a disadvantage, right? Like I'm not there yet, so I can't experience it. And I do think that after the 1-year anniversary, and the only real exciting thing we got was grubbing Shinx and
No, we got
Aeron.
watch support. That wasn't a 1-year anniversary thing.
That's true. You Hannah specifically got the watch support.
I'm not the only one excited about this.
I'm glad they have it. I will say that.
Yeah,
I'm glad they
yeah.
have it.
But so like Pokemon Sleep is what it is, right? Like you are limited in what you can actually do when you open the game, which is, like I said, very Animal Crossing. Of like, I want to build a bridge, I can only build one. I gotta wait till tomorrow. If I want to move this house, I gotta wait till tomorrow. Like you can like plan things out. But even on top of that, on top of the you're limited, I do think there has to be some adjustment in the future for players, because even me, who's at 60, we just talked about how many dream shards I just spent to upgrade a pot. Like, it still feels like this slow grind after a year and a half. And part of like, I've caught 30 EVs, none of them are good, is part of that grind of like, I don't want to do this again. Like, I'll just stick my level 50 Blastoise on the team. I'm swimming in milk. I'll just make whatever high ingredient is there because like it works. and trying and there's so much RNG in being like, I have 10 Shinxes. They're all bad. Like, I don't have a single good Shinx.
Right.
And I've been on Power Plant, not last week, but this week, I haven't seen a single Grubbin yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get your guys' perspective of like, there's nothing to do in Sleep. I get that. But also, the perspective of TCG, last week we talked about how a lot of players were feeling, I opened all my packs and now there's nothing to do. And that was very valid last week. But then the team was like, here's 2 Wonder
Every
Pick
kind
events.
of event we can
Yeah.
do. Every
Here's
single
2
kind of event we can throw at you. We promise we have events. That's
Right.
how this game has gone.
So it was like a 180 in like what happened here of like Sleep now having kind of no events or repeating events, which is like totally fine. But also just being the slow grind where like last week Pocket was, we don't have a lot for you to do. And now Pocket is like Wonder Pick event 1, Wonder Pick event 2, which just went live like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
The battle against Lapras, which is what I played early in New York. The Lapras event, and then finally the one that also just got announced around Wonder Pick 2, which was the, I don't even know what they're calling it, the Apex Emblem event, I think it's called.
Something like that. Yep.
Where you can get like 4 different emblems for battling real people. Now there is still no ladder in this game, but the Apex Emblem event is requiring you to get 45 wins to get all 4 emblems, or 50 wins to get everything in the shop. So I'm not surprised Hannah or other people changed their minds on Pocket, because they just did 4 events at once, and these events will run to the end of the year, end of the month. Most of them run to the end of the month, give or take a couple days. And I'd be curious if this is that cycle. We're always going to have a Wonder Pick event. We're always going to have like a CPU event. And then we're always going to have like some sort of kind of a ladder, but not really. It's like a cosmetic. It's like a bragging cosmetic ladder.
Yeah. In
of
a
like
way.
you want to be competitive because you want to get the cosmetics. But if you don't care about cosmetics, then you just ignore it.
Well,
And having this many events is a little bit overwhelming. I will say they're really, really throwing them at us right now. And I'm kind of okay with that. It's nice to see how many things this game can do. But I'm only so far investing in 2 of those. So far, I've only done the Wonder Pick event, and I've done the solo battles event with the Lapras. I haven't done any of the versus battles at all. I haven't done a single versus battle at all in this game. I'm a little bit intimidated by it still. And that's I might miss it, because that's a lot of battles to win.
It is a lot of battles. I talked pretty highly about the Lapras event when I was in New York, because because when they gave us like the test phones in New York, they gave us like unlimited money. So literally people were just ripping packs.
Dream.
And while everyone was ripping packs, I was doing the battle system, and I got all the way up to, I think, what is it? Expert is the highest rank of Lapras. And then I think we talked about how like there's little goals inside of these. So for example, it's like beat Lapras on Expert without using any EX Pokemon or any Gold Star Pokemon or anything like that. And I do think that is really clever, and that's like really fun, and it gives replayability of like, how can I build something and understand the fundamentals of this game without relying on like EXs and stuff. And of course, like there's, at the end of the day, there's still some RNG where, you know, you might just get a bad hand and the CPU gets like a perfect hand and you lose, but there's like no penalty to that, which I think is great. There's that cooldown where you need I don't even know what they're called, the little blue gems.
Yeah, whatever they are.
Event things. But the thing is that you don't lose one of those if you lose.
Yeah.
That's cool. So like,
and I do I like the synergy between the Lapras event and the Wonder Pick event of like, I already got 2 Meowths, I already got 2 Chanseys. So now I'm trying to get the blue things. I don't know what they're called, the event tickets, or I'm trying to get the Wonder Glass. And if I get the blue things, I can do more Lapras battles to then get more packs of promo cards. So I really, really like the synergy there. And the Wonder Pick stuff encourages you to check the app more often. And so even if you do open the app, you're like, well, I don't have a pack ready. I don't really want to do a battle, but I can at least do my Wonder Pick for the blue ticket or the Chansey or the Meowth.
The blue ticket is called the event shop ticket.
And the blue things are called event stamina.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a beautiful currency system they have happening in this game.
So many currencies.
So I like that a lot in general. As somebody who has played the TCG for a long time, I used to play competitively. I used to travel to tournaments. I top cutted a couple events. There's my LinkedIn resume for you guys. But like what normally happens with like the regular TCG, if you're playing PTCGO or PTCG Live, is people get so excited about a new set. They get to build all these new decks. After maybe a couple weeks or the first big tournament, you start seeing meta decks really dominate, especially if a deck that no one had on their radar ends up winning a tournament. All of a sudden, that becomes seen in these games. And then because the sets in TCG are 3 months long, what happens is that first month is like really good. That second month is kind of like hardcore people. We're practicing for tournaments. And then no one is playing that third month because they're all very bored and staled of the current format. And they're just waiting for the next drop. And I do see this happening right now in Pocket of like, we only have 226 cards or something like that. And there are decks that exist. And there's not that many trainer cards. There's not that many supporter cards.
Right. That's true.
But I do think that these little events can carry that into whatever the next set is. But if the next set isn't for another 2.5 months, I don't think that's particularly good. But the developers did say they don't have like a solid release schedule yet.
Right.
But like, will I come back for more Wonder Pick? 100%. Will I come back for more whatever this Lapras, like beat the CPU in different ways to unlock promo cards? 100%. Do I want to grind another 45 battles on top of the 45 battles I'm grinding for some emblems with the current decks? I don't think so.
I think to your point, I kind of think that those emblem, like the Apex emblem event, that'll be something that comes with each new set. Right? Like, I don't think there'll be another Apex emblem event in that same way during the genetic Apex time frame. Like, they could have other events.
I see what you're saying, yes.
So I think like that kind of event, 45 wins to get your, 45 win emblem and all that stuff. I think that could be like a set by set thing. But I do see. So one thing that I got from the Lapras event was, you have the Lapras, what's Lapras EX and Starmie EX is like the most advanced version of it. And once you have a deck to combat that Lapras deck, you're kind of repeating the same thing over and over again, right? Because like one of the tasks in the advanced is to beat the Lapras deck 20 times. So, and then there's also like 6 different promo cards you want to collect, and you get one pretty much every time you beat that deck. So you're like trying to, pull the right cards and everything. Right. And that definitely is it gets repetitive, right? Like you're playing
That's
the
when
same.
you turn on auto battle.
See, I haven't.
I don't think auto battle is good enough for the expert.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure I've used it. I could be wrong. I've used it for every other level below expert.
It definitely won for me at expert while I was in New York. But and to be fair, I've only used it once since it's been out. But I put on expert, and then I like went to the bathroom to like brush my teeth and everything, and I came back and it was like, you lost, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't used the auto battle, but my point is like, okay, so with the Lapras deck, I put together a really good Pikachu deck, and I was playing against that, right? And that's great. And now I built this Pikachu deck. I kind of tweaked it here and there just to like be like, oh, well, how could I better this or make this? How could I make this go quicker? You know, how can I try to beat it in less steps or whatever? So tweak it here and there. But then you get your deck, and it's like, okay, this is a really good setup deck. I could see them next month now throwing in a Venusaur EX like thing, and all of a sudden now you have to come up with a new deck, and you're going to want to tweak that deck, you know, like, so I just feel like they could do those on like a monthly basis, and I feel like they could, so that even with the same set, you're going to have to start putting together cards you weren't going to put together before, like, and you're against a computer, so it doesn't feel as, you don't have as much pressure as like playing against another real person, even though there's no like win-loss record. There's just like the showing you the wins. It still feels like there's more pressure when you're playing another actual like person than when you're playing the computer.
Yeah, and against the computer, you're playing against the same deck, and so you can kind of learn as you're playing these matches over and over again.
Right.
I've really been enjoying that.
Yeah, and
I like the
better.
It's not surprising to me that this is a lot of people's first time playing TCG. Not surprising at all. Like there was just something basic, because I've been streaming the game where I was like, you always like Pokeball before you Professor Oak, and just a ton of people were like, wait, why? And it's just like, well, because like you're thinning out your deck and you're getting the basic Pokemon out of your deck, so when you Professor Oak, you're getting hopefully like those evolutions or like more trainer cards, so you can like Professor Oak again. And they're like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. And like these are things you just, from like the normal TCG, there's just a proper order to like optimize efficiency of how you play, right? Like,
right.
And it's just very obvious, like this is a lot of people's very first time playing the game. But that's why I think I like the Lapras stuff so much, because you can do it. You can build a deck that works for you. If you want to build like a Pikachu deck to have the advantage against Lapras, you can do that. But then if you want it to be like, you know what, I have a really good Mewtwo, or maybe my Mewtwo deck's not good, not sure, but can I beat this Lapras deck with a Mewtwo? And you can do that. And you can still get credit for it and everything. Or like we said earlier, can you build that deck without using any EXs, any gold stars, any whatever? And then can you beat that Lapras deck? So it is giving you something to like practice against, where I really appreciate. And I think that's like, not only like for me, I don't need the practice, but like it's still like a puzzle to figure out.
Yeah.
And the Apex Emblem event, I think, is okay. Like it does feel like a substitute for like a ranked ladder of asking a player who maybe is not. So you're asking a player a lot of things. And this was what I was kind of worried about last week, is there is no denying that this is a pay to win game. Just not. And I for some reason, I feel like we've lost what pay to win means, because people will throw pay to win around all the time. Like what we'll talk about after the segment of like Keldeo being attached to Pokemon cards, and people are like, pay to win to get Keldeo. Let's back up here. Pay to win in a mobile game is specifically saying, and feel free to, if you have your own definition, that's maybe fine. I don't know. Here's how I'm going to define pay to win, is that if me and Bobby are on equal footing as a player, and I pay more money to get more, in this case, cards, so I can have more options, I have an advantage. That is what pay to win is. Pay to win is not saying I'm always going to win and Bobby is always going to lose. Because I had somebody come in and they're like, this game's not pay to win. I haven't paid a single penny and I'm still winning. That doesn't discredit what pay to win is. When I played Clash Royale for 3 years, I didn't pay any money. And I knew instantly that the person across from me on that field was a pay-to-win player, because not only it was very obvious by what they were putting on the field, but they're like, you should not be in this rank because your units are so higher level than me. Mm-hmm. And I still won some of those matches. That doesn't discredit that they weren't paid to win. They were just a dog water player, and that's fine. What happens is you can pay to have an advantage, but if you're still bad at the game, the pay to win is only going to take you so far. Just like if you're free to play, but you're very skilled, you have an advantage. What we're saying, though, is when two people are on equal footing and one person is clearly paying money, they have an advantage, and that's all pay to win is, right? Like there's people throw around like pay to win in Pokemon Sleep, but there's nothing to win in Pokemon.
That's the other side of it, right? Like how many times before PvP came out did people say Pokemon Go was pay to win? And it was like, no one's winning anything. You're not actually against another person, so you're not winning something. You can't say something's pay to win when you're not actually winning anything.
Right, like just because I have a Lugia and you don't doesn't mean I'm like winning.
Yeah.
Now, if that Lugia card in Pocket is very good and I have it and you don't, yeah, that's pay to win.
Yeah.
But no, even as somebody, I was gifted, I said this last week, I was gifted a $100 iTunes gift card. So I got to open however many more packs than somebody else. And I still don't have a lot of the cards to build a lot of the decks, right? Mm-hmm. Like I have the Mewtwo deck, right? I have whatever people say is the Mewtwo deck, and I got very lucky and I pulled 2 Mewtwo's right away. And I ran I ran a lot of the Apex Emblem event with a half-built Pikachu deck. I think it's no secret that Pikachu is better than Mewtwo. Like in grassroots tournament, Pikachu is consistently winning more than Mewtwo. But that Pikachu deck should have 2 Pikachu EXs, and I only had 1. And I ran 20 plus wins with just 1 Pikachu EX. If I paid more money and I kept opening more and more packs to eventually get the Pikachu card, that's pay to win, because a second Pikachu EX would give me an advantage.
And see, Steve, when you're paying the money and you're hoping for that Pikachu EX, but it's not coming up, it's very frustrating. But I totally understand your point.
Now there is luck, right? You could be a total free-to-play player and just happen to pull 2 Gardevoirs and 2 Mewtwo's. That would be crazy luck in like a 1-week period to pull all those cards. Yeah. But again, that doesn't discredit the game's not pay to win.
No, totally.
Is it as pay to win as other games? That's super hard to say, like especially since like once trading gets introduced, like, and we don't know how that's going to work. Like does that lower like the pay to win? Like it will still be pay to win, don't get me wrong, but like if Hannah has like every card for what is considered the top meta Pikachu deck and she's missing, you know, a Zapdos EX and I have 3 of them and I just trade it to her, that would be cool. Like that would prevent Hannah from spending.
Yeah, but it'll also allow people to buy trades on eBay. Which is undoubtedly going to happen.
But I mean, then that happens now with other games, right? That happens with Go. That happens with to Go. I guess.
And it's not like this isn't like a Pocket problem. This is just all TCGs have this problem where some cards are in demand, and you either go to TCG Player and you buy that card outright, or you have a friend who has it and you borrow it, or you go to Target and you buy a bunch of booster packs and hope you pull it. That's the wrong way to do that, though. You're better off just buying the card.
That is very true. I will say it'll be interesting to see how they implement trading, because are they going to use another currency of some kind? Are they going to have a cooldown period where you can only trade so much with a specific person or so many times? Do they have to be, I mean, they don't have like friendship levels at this point in the game, but they can implement it in so many different ways that could cut down on that like Hannah, you were saying, like the ability to buy, like those things will still happen. They always still happen, right? There's always people that get around the rules, and I mean they're literally breaking the rules when you're like buying a trade. I'm sure there's a terms of service where they're like, you're not supposed to pay for, just like in Pokemon Go, you're not supposed to pay for Pokemon that you're being traded. There's always something going on there, right? But it will be interesting to see how they implement it, because with the amount of currencies in this game, I'm gonna guess there's gonna be a trade currency.
I think the
Yeah.
trade currency is already in the game. I think it's Shine Dust.
Really?
Because right
that
now
would be good. To not
Okay,
use
so
it for
this is
flare.
why I think that right now Shine Dust is only for flares.
Uh-huh.
But why
Which I wish were better.
Yes, they're not great.
No,
But
they're
you're
not.
getting Shine Dust from the Apex event. You're just getting so much Shine Dust. And
That's
there's
true.
like I just like you have your pack currency, right? Like when you open packs, you can like use that currency to make new cards. But that's kind of like their not very good pity system. But like I
Yeah.
understand why it exists.
Yeah.
But I have so much Shine Dust, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
as a player, I have zero. I just don't care about Flare at this point, and
It could be so much better. Like
It could
that's
be.
I mentioned
be.
Marvel Snap a little bit last week. Marvel Snap does the flare pretty darn well. In TCG Pocket, I've you never see it, for one, on your cards. You have to go into so many menus to even just see the flare to begin with. And then for another, it's just you can't use it and they don't look good. They really need to.
Yeah. You can see it on a display board.
Yeah.
So like if you put it on a display board, you can see it fairly easily there, but that's really it, other than
Shine Dust is the thing we're getting a lot of.
Yeah, it's the thing that you can exchange tickets for in the Wonder event as well.
Right.
At this
Yeah.
point.
That's true.
So if I'm thinking of a player who is like, I'm going to have 20 phones and 20 accounts, and I'm going to get 2 booster packs a day, which is 40 booster packs a day, versus me, who's only getting 2 booster packs a day. And once trading comes out, I'll be able to, all my free booster packs, 40 a day, I'll be able to trade all of them to one game. You need a currency to stop that from happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Shine Dust seems the most similar to Stardust in Pokemon Go, which, say what you will about Niantic, but like it does put a wrench in some people, not all people's, like multi-account thing.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how else you would, like, I can't imagine they're just going to add another currency on top of that. And where is that currency going to come from? Like opening packs?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and that would be nice if it was the Shine Dust and it's just something that's already there, and we're not like having to be introduced to a new currency, because like we already know there are so many in this game. And to your point, we're getting a lot of Shine Dust, and then the thing is that even with all that Shine Dust, like you can't get the flare that easily, right? Because you have to have like a certain amount of cards, right?
Yep.
So like you have to have, what is it, like to get just like normal flare, you have to give in a card, you have to like trade in a card, but you still have to have 2 remaining.
Yeah, at
For it to-
least I think it varies per card.
Yeah,
I
it
think
varies per card for sure,
rarity.
but there's more to it. You can't just have one card and add flare to it.
Mhm.
So the ratio of like Shine Dust we're getting to how many cards people are going to be able to put flare on is not proportionate at all. So it would make sense if that was going to end up being used for something else as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Shine Dust. I do wonder if there will be a like friendship system. Like even when I was in New York and they were like, trading is going to come soon. Like when trading does eventually come, I think they'll make a big deal about it. I think it will be a big update, and there will be people who did this Lapras event, don't care about the Apex event, kind of fell off because 2 booster packs was not enough to like keep them engaged. And then trading is like this big thing to be like, okay, come back to the game and everything.
Yeah.
There's just like no way they're going to be like, trading's here, trade as much as you want with anyone you want over the, like there has to be like, you can only do like one special trade a day, or you also have to do Shine Dust, or we're introducing a level system where I don't mind it in Pokemon Go, where it's like one day is 1 star or 1 heart, and then 7 days is 2 hearts, and then 30 days is 3 hearts, and like the more hearts you get, the cheaper it is eventually when you trade. What I really want is lucky cards. Let us get to best friends, and then give us a 1% chance where if I trade Bobby, maybe that card goes lucky, and it's like
I think the Go system for trading is, I actually like it a lot. Like you're saying, the one thing I think that they need to do is add distance to the Go trading. Honestly, like we've made so many friends, especially since like 2020. We've made so many friends like through online forums and online communities, and they're all over the place. And now I'm lucky friends with a whole list of people in Go, and I have never going to be able to actually be close enough to them to trade them anything. And at this point in time, I think there are enough things in place to where, hey, if people are going to distance trade and cheat in some way to do that, like they're going to do it, but they're already doing it in some form. So it's like, I think you could remove the distance stuff at some point in time, or maybe at least
for lucky friends.
At least for lucky friends, or at least in like just certain time periods where you're like, hey, this
like
week, and maybe you don't have to make a big like.
And they've done an event like that before, very briefly, back in 2020.
But was it like there was no distance, right?
It wasn't worldwide. It was just like double or triple the distance that you usually can.
Yeah, I mean there was
far.
definitely.
It was like I could trade with anyone in the entire
Milwaukee
Milwaukee area, which is very like Milwaukee was very big.
Yeah, it was definitely. I remember trading with people that were like a good 30 or 40 miles away from me, and that was pretty cool. But that needs to go in some way. But so I hope with Pocket that there's not a distance thing to it in some way. I really do hope that it's like, because we're already battling people all over the world, and then you're able to like friend request them after the battle to become friends with them and things like that. So I do hope. And we're
no
wonder
way to
picking
turn that off. It's the worst part about that entire game. Every time I battle somebody, they're sending me a friend request, and I'm like,
okay, popular.
I don't want it, man.
But we're already wonder picking from people's packs that are all over the world as well, right? Because it's like if your friends are opening packs and you can wonder pick from their pack. So I don't think there'll be I hope there's no distance thing when it comes to trading. But I do agree that like, yeah, they're never just going to be like trade all you want and just do whatever.
Devs did say that like you don't have to be standing next to the person to trade.
Right, but they were that answer that they gave was very like, you don't have to be standing right next to the person. Doesn't mean that I can be in a different country.
You both need your
them.
wonder pick to be at full energy. You need 100,000 shine dust.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am very impressed with the amount of events that Pocket has done, and I think if I remember Hannah saying, it almost feels a little overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But to me, like, not in like a bad way. It's just like, oh, there's things to do. Like I didn't think I'd be able to sit on stream and stream this game for 4 hours 2 nights in a row. I legitimately didn't, because like, who wants to just see like random battles against people with like no stakes? Like that's just like not a huge thing on Twitch. Like usually Twitch is very like, when you are gaming, you're either you're just being funny or you're relatively good at the game. That's like what's going to attract people. Right. And there's only so much you can do specifically. In my case, I'm just speaking as me, to be like, well, we could do 4 hours of pack opening. One, maybe that's good content for 4 hours. That's expensive content for 4 hours. Because I can rip through $100 in about 30 minutes. So I don't know about 4 hours of pack opening. But because the Apex Emblem event has a goal, right? Mm-hmm. And pay to win or not pay to win, people want to figure out how to achieve that as fast as possible. So it's like, I want to see what you're playing. I want to see how you're playing, because I just want to get 45 wins. I don't want to do it in 90 games. I don't want to do it in 100 games. I want to do it in as few games as possible. And that's where, people tune in, because they're like, what deck are you using? Is this getting you more wins than losses? do I have the cards to build this deck? I don't have those cards. What would you suggest? So
that's so interesting, because that's not my like the way that I feel about it. Like I'm not trying to. I mean, sure, I would like to get the 45 wins as quick as possible, but not because I want it as quick as possible, because I want to win more than lose, right? Like I'm playing to win the game, like, but I'm just having fun doing the battles over and over again, with like the versus battles too, and just seeing the different stuff. And sure, like there isn't a huge variety of decks. Like saying earlier, like how many times have I come across a Mewtwo EX deck? Like it is happening quite often. For some reason, they always have 2 immersive cards as well. But you know, like it is fun to play it, because even though, and I guess it depends on the deck you're playing, but like for me, playing a deck that is like heavily dependent on coin flips, it does make every match a little bit different, and that to me is exciting. Like it just, like that fact that like I'm not as like confident that this is going to work exactly the same way this time as it did last time, because coin flips change everything. And
they sure do.
yes, they do. And you know, if that makes it a little bit more exciting to me. Also, it like makes it more annoying when, you know, like you keep flipping tails, but that's part of like doing that. That's part of playing that game to me. But also like just being able to swap out decks, try different things. Like sure, there are the decks that are going to be the best. There's the meta decks, but then you're also coming across like, hey, but you can use this deck to play against this. Or it, you know, it feels good to like play against a meta deck that's really good, and then you're playing a different kind of deck that like works really well against it. And it feels good to like play that and then realize that that's a good deck. I don't know. There's all those different options in playing the game. And obviously, if you like come from playing the TCG, you know this, right? Like you were saying, like new set comes out, everybody's excited for a month. They kind of get into their like the set they want to use, and then they kind of drop off a little bit, and then by third month you're like waiting for that next set, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like the CPU like events can come in and kind of keep that from happening too much on the Pocket side, right? Like they can put in these CPU events that are just different types, so now you're forced to go build a different kind of deck even out of the same set that we've had for the last couple of months. Especially adding those promos in too, like all of a sudden Lapras EX is like at play, and it wasn't a week ago, even though there's not a new set. Like that promo is now there and makes a new deck. Like
I was gonna say, like we had a pretty solid, like your deck choice was either coin flipping Marowak, Pikachu EX, Mewtwo EX, or Articuno. Like those were kind of the 4 decks.
mm-hmm.
And then because of one single card, Mankey, the Mankey promo,
mm-hmm.
we are now seeing Primate decks pop up, because the promo Mankey was significantly better than the first Mankey that you got from the Apex packs.
Right.
So, and we're probably going to see this again whenever the Jigglypuff promo comes out, because we already know what all the promos are. Like all the promos are not in the game, but of
mm-hmm.
course the game's been out and people looked at it, so we know what, like how many promos are there, like 26 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so we have like half the promos at this point, because
mm-hmm.
the Lapras event added the 5 more. So whatever the next event is, eventually there will be a Jigglypuff promo, and apparently just like the Mankey, this Jigglypuff is better than the current Jigglypuff. And for somebody who like has never played the TCG, you're like, why would the Jigglypuffs be so different? It would be like as simple as like what its move is.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also things like retreat. So I don't know what the current Jigglypuff is, but if the current Jigglypuff is 2 retreat and the new Jigglypuff is kind of garbage, but the retreat is 1 less, that's significantly better, just having 1 retreat over 2. Also, it can be something as simple as HP. So if like one Pokemon is like, you have a Shinx at 40 HP, but a new Shinx comes out and has 50 HP, like that 10 extra HP can make Shinx instantly more viable. I don't think there are any Shinx in the game. I was just using that as an example.
Yeah.
So I've already seen like people being like, oh, Wigglytuff, maybe we can get Wigglytuff to work, which is like cool. But I think you will see more Wigglytuff when that new Jigglypuff comes out, because Primate has been there since day 1, but the Mankey before it was bad, and this new Mankey is good. So now you're seeing Primate pop up.
Yeah. And I also think like the addition of, because very few cards right now have abilities, but I could see more of those popping up in time, and like I think that will definitely change things as well. I think abilities definitely change the game up, and um, just even if a promo has an ability when like the regular one doesn't, that could change everything about that card and what it evolves into. So, I think they're able to make small changes that can have effects that can do a lot to the game. And again, just outside of the versus battling, which again I really enjoy, especially because you're just seeing some differences, and then you just can know, like, you can kind of see like, okay, this is how this plays, like maybe I'll tweak this or do this and just make a change. But also those CPU battles I think will be kind of crucial to keep those going, and not make them like once per set or something. Definitely like get a couple in there so that people are able to switch stuff up and not keep using the same stuff over and over. Because again, like with the Lapras event, Pikachu EX 25 times, right? Like
Until you need to complete the tasks that are build a deck with the 1, 2, and 3 diamond cards only.
Yeah, definitely. But that's
So you kind of need 2 decks for each of these.
But you only have to do that once for that task. But then you have to beat Lapras 20 times, and it's like, okay, well now I'm going to go back to
I have
like
confirmed
the
you
deck.
can do with auto battle.
Nice.
on the hardest difficulty.
Yes, on the expert level.
Let me get that deck list real quick.
It's the Lieutenant Surge rental deck.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, I think for the sake of this conversation, not going too long, I do want to talk about like the different decks and how the battles actually feel, especially since Hannah has gotten into battles. But I think we'll save that conversation for next week, which will technically be tomorrow. But you guys won't know that. That will be tomorrow, because we could literally have like a 3-hour episode on Pocket. But also I have to edit 3 different episodes before I leave on Tuesday. So we're going to have to break it up for you. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we got some Scarlet and Violet news. So we will see you on the other side. And we are back from our break. We got some Scarlet and Violet news. It's time. It happened. I have been waiting all year for this. People didn't believe me. And here we are. History has been made today. Although it probably wasn't supposed to be announced, but
yeah, that's the thing.
Oops.
Darn you, Japanese grocery stores. Shiny Rayquaza will be coming to Tera Raid battles from December 20th to January 6th globally. Well, this is off Sarumi. I don't know why it wouldn't be globally. Like, in what world would they be like, no, only Japanese Switches would be able to get this Rayquaza?
Well, they're definitely going to see the anime episodes that are relevant to it first.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
I definitely... There's no secret. I believe that Shiny Rayquaza was coming the entire time. And I felt like if you watched a handful of episodes of the anime, you would instantly agree with why I thought this. Like, they... Like, I think it's like Netflix did like the first like 10 episodes, and I think it's like episode 8.
I think so.
It's like
it's definitely in the very first group.
Yeah, where they literally set up against a raid battle. So we don't know a whole lot because technically it shouldn't have been announced yet. The reason it's announced is because of a different event, which we'll talk about. But to get the Rayquaza stuff out of the way, we don't know if it's 7-star. We don't know if it's Mighty Mark. There were some people saying, like, are we even going to be able to catch this? And I guess, to be fair, we don't know that answer, but I don't know why we wouldn't be able to catch this. The game has been out for 2 years. We have been able to catch every single raid battle up to this point.
Probably just Sword and Shield.
Yeah, the Sword and Shield
from
kind of
those times.
Yeah, but like the reason we couldn't catch Urshifu or Glastrier or Spectrier or Mewtwo or Zeraora was because the game wasn't set up that way. You could either catch as many as you want or catch none. And like this game specifically has, you can catch one, we read the data, you can no longer catch anymore.
I'm not saying that your logic isn't like good. I'm saying that like people get the memories of, well, there was a time when something came and I wasn't able to catch it. Like, right.
Yeah.
Whether
But yeah,
that's this
just
era or the last
memories
one.
of a totally different game, though.
Yeah.
But
Well, people
yeah.
remember those memories, that especially if they were negative to them, they're going to remember it more than the positive.
I also don't see why this wouldn't be a 7-star raid. I guess the logic would be, well, Dialga and Palkia were 5-star raids.
That's my first thought. Like, just because of that I could see people thinking that.
But there's no way this isn't a 7-star raid.
How many legendaries have been 7-star raids?
Just one, just Mewtwo.
Yeah.
So we've just had Mewtwo being 7-star, and then we had Dialga, Palkia. And let's be fair here. The Dialga and Palkia was kind of weird.
It was really weird,
was
and they
very
haven't
weird.
done anything like it since.
Yeah.
Right. They were like, we're putting, because that was when the DLC dropped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, here's the new DLC. Hey, we brought back a lot of legends. We didn't bring back Dialga, Palkia, but they're in the game. Also, they're just in 5-star raids, and you can catch one of each. Like, it feels weird because there's been nothing like that. Like, if they were to say, like, Landorus, Tornadus, Thundurus, and Enamorus are coming to raids because they are in the game, but just not catchable, but you would realistically want them for, like, competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that also, like, I do think that should happen, and like I guess I'm a believer in like eventually we'll get an Enamorus event.
Will we?
I don't know.
Like, it would still be very weird after 2 years to be like, the only way to get Enamorus is to play through this 40-hour game
and yet
catch her. And
I
yet
mean,
here we are.
You could in Pokemon Go very briefly.
Valentine's Day.
Yes, the Valentine's Day where my apartment building caught on fire.
I think I know what they're doing this Valentine's Day.
But if you're lucky,
trainers.
Hold on though.
Yeah, I mean, they did set up a system, which I think is a very good system, which is like, here are raid event specifics, and you can only catch one. And if you want to do it over and over, you can get rewards and you can help people. I think that system is great. The system is inherently flawed because of the frame rate of the game. Sure. Like, no one's disagreeing there, but like, the core concept of the system is very good.
Yeah. Okay, two things. One, Walking Wake, Iron Leaves, same way as like Palkia Dialga, right? There's only the 5-star ones from the raids that you could only catch one of.
Yep.
Yeah, right. You can only catch one of each, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they've done that one 3 times now.
Right.
Well,
but
technically
if you
4. one of those
for the
4
times it was
just
broken. Yeah.
Right. But with Dialga Palkia, when was that? When did the DLC come out? Like, what month was that?
What was that? September, I think it was. It was Indigo Disc.
Oh, right. So it was like, okay. I was just wondering if it was any combination with like not Hoenn, with Sinotaur or something. So they wanted to like,
I see.
Because Go had like Dialga and Palkia and all their stuff happening for a period of time. If maybe they were just trying to like, you know how they like associate things with different games and everything. But if it was September, then that had nothing to do with any other game. That's just weird. That's still weird to me. That's still very weird to me that like they're the only legendaries that they did that with. And they've never done it again.
I did like Pokemon Day probably would have been my guess for shiny Rayquaza as a Christmas thing. I think that's fine. I do feel bad for people who will be getting this game for Christmas. Like, they can still
does go after Christmas, though. It does go after the holiday.
Yeah, January 6th.
Yep.
And it's I don't want to say like it's really easy just to borrow a Pokemon, but ideally, if you are needing to do this with Mewtwo is very much dependent on a decent team. Like, everyone kind of needed to know what they were doing. So like, if somebody was to, come to our Slack or our Discord or my Twitch streams and be like, hey, I just got the game, loving it, frame rate sucks, understand, buddy. But then was like, hey, I don't have enough resources to like be a contributor to the 4 people it would be very easy to be like, hey, borrow this Pokemon, get your Rayquaza, and then you can just trade it back to me when you're done. I think that's probably like in the universe of like what is the perfect Pokemon scenario. I'm sure that's what Game Freak like has written on their whiteboard. Well, like, oh, brand new trainers will be able to connect and trade, and then they'll be able to help each other. I'm sure that's like in their mind of like, yeah, that's how we want people to play our game. So I think it will be Mighty Mark. I think you'll be able to catch it. I think you can catch one. I think it will be as hard as Mewtwo. I think I'll do a video for it. We don't know what its Tera type is. I will say that Mr. Joe Sarumi said that no current raids can be programmed to be stellar Tera type. So you can't. So they would have to possibly update or change something of the game. I don't know what the validity is on that. I'm not saying I don't trust Joe. I didn't know that until I saw them tweet said thing. We, as far as the anime knows, we don't know what Rayquaza's type, stellar or Tera type is.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, like, well, what was anime?
We don't know. I mean, like, unless Hannah wants to disagree with me, it looks like it's stellar type in the anime.
I don't. I'm a little behind on the anime. I need to catch up before this event.
But even that first battle,
yes, in the
10
first
episodes,
battle, the way it's shining, yeah,
it looks stellar.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I would assume we'll get a proper announcement ahead of time, like Mewtwo saying what its type is, and Rayquaza actually has not a great moveset, but
it's a very popular Pokemon.
Yeah,
it is. It is.
It's a very good Pokemon, and the shiny is a fantastic shiny. So this is a good event.
Yeah, it is. I mean, everybody should join your Slack or your Discord so that they can get help, so they can get this Rayquaza. By the way,
yeah. So the reason we know about this Rayquaza is because there's a new event starting in Japan, and it's very similar to an event that already happened. So we kind of know how this will play out. It's called the Mythical Pokemon Get campaign, and it will give out 3 mythical Pokemon. So this year it is going to be Deoxys, Keldeo, and Zarude. And these Pokemon already exist in Scarlet and Violet, just like Dialga and Palkia. You can currently move them in. They're just not catchable in the game. So if you're thinking there's going to be like a third DLC or a Pokedex upgrade, you could already move these Pokemon in. That's not happening. I think we've established epilogue means they're done. That's the whole point of the word epilogue. So it's a point campaign. And if you remember, this is a very cohesive podcast. If you remember earlier, we said pay to win. So ideally, when you buy Pokemon cards in Japan, inside those packs will be points. I think a pack of cards is 4 points. And then you go to a Japanese website and you enter the little code card in, and then you make a profile, and there will be multiple rewards you can get. And it's like it'll be something like Keldeo is 4 points, Deoxys is 10 points, Zarude is 20 points, and then there will be like Master Ball and some other stuff. I don't know if there'll be Master Ball or Safari Ball or stuff this year, but usually it goes over the limit because ultimately you could just buy one booster box in Japan, which how many packs of cards is that, Bobby?
Typically 30.
So yeah, 30 times 4, that almost gives you enough points to just get everything off the list. The other thing you can do is certain stores. So I think 3 years ago when they did this for Sword and Shield, it was Marshadow, Genesect, Volcanion, I think were the 3 Pokemon.
That sounds correct. Right.
Yeah.
And you could go into like 7-Eleven, and if you bought like like a Pokemon egg roll or something, it would be like 2 points. It's just much easier. So as an American, we have a lot of Americans, as a Canadian, as somebody from the UK, you could technically participate. You could order a box of whatever set this is going to be in. I don't know if we know the set. It's probably going to be that Eevee set, I'm going to guess. That Japanese Eevee set.
When does this start?
It starts November 22nd.
Okay. The EV
So
set
what-
comes out December 6th.
Okay, so it wouldn't be that. Well, I guess it could.
It could be
Because you could go to the grocery, you could go to 7-Eleven to start getting your points.
because that's the only set that's coming out. I mean, there's no other set coming out before December 6th, to my knowledge.
Yeah, and Sarumi doesn't say what cards these will be attached to. When they were for the Sword and Shield era, it was the shiny set it was attached to. I don't remember what set that was.
Oh, then it's probably going to be because this is the same. This is the same as the shiny set. Like this is the,
okay.
It's like, you know what I'm trying to say, like it's the same time frame. It's this. I think it's a high class set. Like it's the same. So in that case, there would be probably 10 packs in a booster box, not 30.
Yes. Because I remember buying, I think 3 or 4 at the time, and having extra codes left over. Yeah. What was it, like shiny V-Star or something was the set?
Shiny Star V, Shiny Star V, Shiny
Yes,
something
like
V.
I'll
look this up now.
Okay, so that is how that's happening. Again, you hear the pay to win. I mean, I don't know. When you buy a box of cereal and there's a toy in it, do you call the toy in the cereal pay to win? Like you're buying Pokemon cards, or you're buying like an egg roll and you're just getting points. Like, I don't know what you're really winning by getting a free Deoxys.
Was the other Mythicals? It was last year, just last
No, it
year.
was 3 years ago.
It was.
Yeah, because I checked. I made a YouTube video about it, and I checked that video, and it was
flown.
3. It was 3 years ago. I made that video.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it
been a
was
little
last
while
year.
at this point.
Okay. Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Where's time gone?
I've moved like
All
7
right.
times since then, Bobby.
If you're listening to the audio version, Hannah's in a completely different place this time too.
No, thankfully not.
Wow. Okay. It's gonna take me another second here to figure that out.
Now I know people are like, Japan gets all the good stuff. That's true. That's very fair to say. Korea got the same event with points in their Korean packs. It was much easier for a US person to just go to the Japanese website, make an account, have Google translate it, enter the points yourself. So what I'm saying is you can order Japanese cards from Mecca or Play Asia or wherever you're ordering Japanese cards from. Somebody on TikTok, I'm sure they're selling you Japanese cards. You can order your cards from wherever, and the code cards will be in there. I'll make a video whenever that comes out of like how to make an account, how to redeem the code cards, all that stuff. So it's not region locked to Japan, although the point system is for Japanese products. Korea was a little bit harder because you had to use like a VPN at that point. Some people know how to use a VPN because of Pocket, so maybe that won't be that hard for them. These did come to Europe and to the United States via Game or GameStop. Not as exciting. Although you didn't have to buy anything, you did have to walk into a GameStop, which I would rather buy Pokemon cards than talk to a GameStop employee personally.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's fair. Usually when I'm talking to a GameStop employee, it's because I'm buying Pokemon cards. So.
No, I've met very nice GameStop employees, but I know GameStop as a company is just not very good.
Yeah.
True. That's true. Okay, if it was in December of 2020, it was Shiny Star V. If it was in December it was 2020, December of 2020. Okay, yeah, Shiny Star V.
Yeah, that sounds right, because those were like black boxes, I remember.
Yes. Yeah.
So ultimately we know that both of these events are coming because pamphlets or little brochures went out to Japanese stores. Probably shouldn't have been opened. Somebody opened them. Somebody took a picture. They're on Sarumi now. It really feels like the old Cora days.
Yeah,
it really does.
This was Thursday, right? Like this happened like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, maybe.
Yeah, it happened pretty recently.
So I'm thinking we were probably supposed to get an announcement like this coming week if they were shipped to the stuff last week.
Oh, yeah, like a week or two. Yeah, I'm sure these were going to be handed out during like Black Friday or
right. This week,
I don't know if Japan actually... Does Japan celebrate Black Friday? They must.
The whole world gets online discounts, I'm sure, from
Yeah, for Black Friday. I don't actually.
I don't
it's
think
very much an online.
if the videos mean anything that we've seen year after year, they all happen to be in America where the
Yeah, no, the videos, the holiday, the way that it is celebrated, if you can say it that way, is
it's not
definitely an American thing. But online, I feel like there are discounts probably in a lot of places.
Yeah, everywhere. Regardless, people like Black Friday or not in Japan, people are going to do more shopping for the holidays.
Correct.
Therefore,
Yes.
pamphlets will be handed out to them for the holidays to advertise both of these events. I guess that leads to, we know we're recording this on November 9th. We know that Rayquaza is taking up almost 3 weeks at the end of the year of content. We still have one 7-star starter left, which would be Torterra. No clue. They probably just do ground type, right? We've only had one ground. I don't know what else you would really do for Torterra at that point.
Yeah, I would have thought grass, but then they did superior grass.
Yeah, superior was pure grass.
Right? So then probably, maybe ground. Ground sounds.
I feel like you bring ground
right.
because then people bring water, but then you have the grass super effective.
That's true.
Anyways, we would assume that Torterra would some point happen between now, knowing my luck, we'll put this up on Monday and it will already be announced.
Of course.
Of course. Now to Rayquaza, but because Eevee Day is coming up, I would not be surprised if they recycle the 7-star Eevee.
Yeah.
Which would be like a slight bummer to people that are like, I already got Eevee, but you have to think that Eevee would come back with Herba Mystica, and I don't care what anyone says, Eevee was the easiest 7-star raid for a group or for like a solo person.
And the Eevee outbreaks are so much fun.
Oh yeah, they partnered that with the Eevee outbreaks. So I definitely see them doing Eevee. They could fit Eevee and Torterra in before Rayquaza. I don't think they can fit anything more.
Yeah. I do think that they might go Eevee first, though. Because,
I think so too.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, like, Eevee Day is the 21st, right? So that's literally 2 weeks. That's like 2 weeks from now. So I think they'd maybe, like, skip next weekend.
Yeah.
And then do Eevee on the 23rd and the 30th. Would they do 2 weeks of it, probably?
I think they do 1 week of Eevee.
Oh, just 1 week? Okay, so they do it on the 23rd.
I think that's what they did the first time, right? It was only 1 week.
So. Yeah.
I don't remember. Okay, so I could see them doing like the 21st. Oh, because Eevee Day is actually on the day they would start it anyway.
Yep.
So start it on the 21st, which would be like the 22nd UTC, and then go through that weekend, and then they could do Torterra.
And I'm sure
after.
I'm sure Eevee outbreaks will happen alongside it.
Eevee what?
The outbreaks.
Oh, the outbreaks. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure they do that. The only other thing I can think of is like, well, what happens when they're done with 7-star raids? Like, well, they have Rayquaza, which I think is a good way to end all your starters, right? Because we're going to be out of starters by the time Rayquaza comes, unless for whatever reason Torterra gets pushed. But we
no way Torterra ends up after Shiny Rayquaza.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I could definitely see them doing the Gen 9 starters after it. I think that would be really cool. I think that would bring people back. Obviously, not as much as Rayquaza. Like when you think of like what brings people back, like Mewtwo, just huge. Like Mewtwo's so popular, and like Rayquaza equally as popular as Mewtwo. You just put the shiny factor onto it. I do wonder though. Now that we're all done with all the starters, do we see like we're putting Wo-Chen or something in raids and they're shiny? The reason I say that is not to like get people's hopes up or whatever, is just because the catch one thing has been established in this game. And in the past, we got the Galarian birds, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno through competitive. All you had to do was do 3 matches and then you get it. I think, I don't want to say like earning a Pokemon. I think it is just more impactful to do a raid battle for said shiny Pokemon, whether that's Wo-Chen or Koraidon or Rayquaza, to be like, I took down this epic Pokemon with my 3 friends versus I built a team of Igglybuff, Wigglytuff, Centiskorch, and I lost 3 battles, and then I got a shiny Zapdos. I think when you put those two on like a like a comparison of like what is more memorable, I think the raid battle's a little more memorable.
That's just the way you do it. Every few years, I know to get my Rattatas out so that I can get my shiny legendary Pokemon.
Or
and
some
then I put them
Voltorb.
away for
Just
3
have
more
that
years.
explosion.
Yeah, I mean, like it is the first week of November. I don't think we're getting any ZA news. I think this confirms the Rayquaza. I mean, confirms that this is the year.
No January 28th ZA release date.
I don't think so. There were 3 things I was confident about at the start of the year. 1, we were not getting ZA this year. 2, shiny Rayquaza will come. And 3, I didn't think they would reuse the word legends. I was only wrong on one of those 3.
Yeah. I was so confident of a January release date for ZA.
Yeah,
and
I really wanted it.
I still think Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is a Legends game, but I can't confirm that until we see ZA.
Gotta learn what a Legends game actually is.
We will find out because we will have 3 Legends games at that
Potentially.
point. Right now we only have 2, and they're very similar. People just don't realize how similar they are. I am very excited to make that YouTube video. Well, that's our episode for you guys. If you're listening to this this will come out on Monday the 11th. Japan streams should start on the 14th because I'll be in the future, so you guys will be in the past. So if you want to see Fukuoka, Japan, what the wild area is, I should be streaming that on Twitch. I bring that up because like the live streams are like a lot of work, and I got to carry a backpack, and you guys are very heavy when you're watching. I got to put 200 people on my shoulder and show you guys Japan. So I do appreciate when people show up for the live streams.
They are very good streams, though. It is fun to watch, like, you're playing Pokemon Go, but to actually see where you are, to like see a new place, it is very cool to watch those streams. So excited to see.
I always have to find like an old Japanese lady to trade with, because then a line will start forming, and they'll be like, "This white guy must have all the good Pokemon." my stream in Korea, where like I was like, I'll just trade with this like one Korean kid. They just like want a Char Cadet, and instant regret, because as soon as I started trading with them, I had like a line of like all these other, and like these Korean kids. I can't understand you guys. Like, comes on me, I don't know. Those are always fun moments, though. I love trading with other people. But yeah, and then we should have some other episodes for you guys. If there is like crazy breaking news, I really don't think so in the next 2 weeks. I think the Rayquaza probably would have been the breaking news, but we got that pretty early. I don't think anyone's gonna be shocked when 7-star Torterra gets announced, or if EV Day gets announced or anything. So I think we're pretty safe there. Cool. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Bobby. We will see you guys next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super winning against the Lapras EX expert rank in Pokemon Pocket with auto battle again. Effective.